Call the meeting to order, 7:30. I can do the roll call. Simon's here, Freehand, absent. Mr. Boda?
Here.
Mr. Pasalis, absent. Mr. Horn?
Here.
Ms. Babel?
Here.
Mr. Blackstock?
Here.
Okay. Would you follow me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Moving on to the approval of the agenda. Is there any additions or deletions to the agenda as presented? If not, a motion to accept the agenda as presented would be in order.
So move.
Do we have a support?
I support.
I'll support.
We have motion by Mr. Boda, supported by Ms. Babel. Is there any further discussion on the approval of the agenda? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to the approval of the minutes of January 6, 2020. They're in your packet. Is there any changes?
If there are deletions or additions or corrections, if there's none, make a motion, we approve the minutes from January 6th to here 2020.
Support.
It's been moved and supported that we approve the minutes of January 6, 2020. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have public comment. Is there anyone in the audience that wants to speak on anything that's not on the agenda? Seeing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. We have the C1 December 2019 St. Clair Area Fire Authority Report, C2 December 2019 Park Commission Minutes, C3 December 2019 Cash Summary by Account, C4 December 2019 Cash Summary by Bank, C5 December 2019 Revenue and Expenditure Report, and C6 December 2019 Balance Summary. Is there any questions on the consent agenda?
If not, I'll make a motion that we accept the consent agenda as presented.
Support.
All right, it's been moved and supported that we accept the consent agenda as presented. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to disbursements, we have invoices of $34,307.04, accounts payable of $104,366.66. We have payroll direct deposit of $30,204.41. We have EFT account of $54,480.99. We have a tax account of $313,391.98 for a total disbursement of $536,751.08.
I'll make a motion, we pay the bills in the amount of $536,751.08.
I support.
It's been moved and supported that we pay the bills in the sum of $536,751.08. Is there any further discussion? Questions? Hearing none, roll call. Mr. Horn.
Yes.
Mr. Boda.
Yes.
Simon says yes. Mr. Blackstock?
Yes.
Ms. Babel?
Yes.
Motion carries, we pay the bills. Moving on to old business, we have none. Moving on to new business. One, Building official and zoning administrator hours. This should be in your packet. Cindy, do you want to explain any why we're doing this, or it's just for
Just for information.
information?
In the fall, he had decided that Fridays would work, where I guess he reevaluated and is looking at splitting it up into 2 days and spending some more time here.
It'll actually, I think, be better for the township. We'll give 2 days instead of the one.
Right.
This is mainly the building official when he's here on duty, and the zoning administrator. Building inspections and all that'll still be, will still be the same at any time, with notice. So we don't need no action, this is just an FYI. We want to do receive and file that? Or no action, no, I guess we don't need nothing.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so moving on to new business 2, appoint planning commissioner member to fill the vacancy. And that's in your packet under new business 2. And I submitted it. This is to fill an opening we have on the planning commission. The guy's name is Steve Demick, and he has indicated a desire to serve in the township in this capacity for the balance of the vacated term, which vacates 9/21/2021. So it's a year and a half or so is left on the term. So I guess we need a motion to, if the board is in agreement with this, then that's what we would do.
I'll make a motion that we appoint Steve Demick to the East China Township Planning Commission to fill the vacancy with a term ending 9/21/2021.
I support.
All right, it's been moved and supported that we appoint Steve Demick to the Planning Commission. Is there any further discussion? And that's for the remainder of his term till 9/21/2021. No further questions, and all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to new business 3 is the My Warrant membership. Cindy, do you want to?
Well, I've included an overview as well as the actual agreement. So if you have any questions on the agreement, the attorney has looked it over, has no concerns.
And there's no fee for this too, so.
Correct.
It's a good, other people will help us with their problems, and maybe we can help other people with their problems. So I guess motion would be in order to,
They can, if we wanted for some particular reason to get out, they can get out at no penalty or anything else from what I've written here.
Cindy, is that right? If we wanted to just quit, I imagine you could quit anytime you want.
The only thing you'd have to do is pay whatever fees have been incurred on your behalf by this organization. But other than that, you don't have to pay any penalty.
Yeah, I don't see no penalty.
It was somewhere here.
There's a provision in there. I'd have to dig through to see the exact way of removing yourself from the agreement. Want me, I can look.
Well, there's one here on D under incidental costs, other reasonable related incident costs that are accrued by the responding member during the specified period of assistance shall be paid by the requesting member, which would be us. Incidental costs include travel costs to deploy personnel to the
Withdrawal.
requesting member's location, shipping costs to transport equipment, et cetera. And there's some additional,
Article 13 is withdrawal provision.
Yeah, G, that's what I was reading.
Article 13?
which one you read? Yeah, I'd like to withdraw.
Yeah, that's, you see it, the G, yeah. So I guess you can withdraw anytime you want. Any other questions, Don?
No.
Okay. Does somebody want to make a motion to authorize us to join it?
I'll make a motion to join the Mish One membership at no cost.
I'll support.
Do we need to read that resolution, Larry?
What's that?
Do we need to read this?
Oh, yeah, we probably have to read the, I forgot that. Do you want to read, I guess we got to read this.
I can read it if you want.
Resolution.
Where's that?
It's in your, it's in the back of your thing there, the next, second page in, I think. From the front. Do you want to, somebody want to read it, or?
I can read it if you want.
Sure, go ahead.
Resolution 3, 2020, authorizing membership in the Michigan Water Wastewater Agency Response Network. Minutes of the regular meeting of the Township Board of Trustees of East China Township, County of St. Clair, Michigan, held in the Township Hall on the 20th day of January 2020 at 7:30 p.m. The following resolution was offered
Mr. Boda.
by Mr. Boda and supported by Mr. Horn. Whereas certain Michigan water, wastewater, and public works agencies have formed the Michigan Water Wastewater Agency Response Network, MyWARN, to share resources and to assist each other in the form of personnel, equipment, material, and supplies in the event of emergencies that disrupt utility services. And whereas the Urban Cooperation Act of 1967 authorizes public bodies and private entities to work together to provide mutual aid and assistance to both public and private water and wastewater utilities and public works agencies in need of emergency assistance caused by natural or man-made disasters. And whereas the features of the proposed mutual aid and assistance agreement under consideration give sole discretion to the members whether or not to respond to a request for assistance or to what extent to respond to a request for assistance from a requesting member, and provides for cost reimbursement by the requesting member to the responding member. And whereas the Charter Township of East China will retain complete discretion and authority to withdraw some or all of its resources furnished to a requesting member at any time, and two of two may withdraw from MyWARN for any reason upon 7 days' notice to the steering committee. Whereas legal counsel for the Township of East China has reviewed the draft mutual aid and assistance agreement in conjunction with the township manager and recommended the proposed agreement, and whereas the members have agreed to enter into this Michigan Wastewater Agency Response Network mutual aid agreement to describe the terms and conditions under which emergency assistance may be requested and provided, and whereas by executing the agreement, the parties express their intent to participate in a program of mutual aid and assistance within the state of Michigan. Now therefore be it resolved that the Township of East China does hereby authorize entering into the mutual aid and assistance agreement with the Michigan Water Wastewater Agency Response Network, and authorizes the execution of the agreement by the township supervisor and clerk.
Okay, thank you. Is there any further questions on this resolution? 3-2020? Hearing none, roll call, please. Mr. Boda?
Yes.
Simon's yes. Mr. Blackstock?
Yes.
Ms. Babel?
Yes.
Mr. Horn?
Yes.
Motion carries. We adopt that resolution. Now moving on to announcements. Don't have a lot of announcements right now, other than stay warm. It's like we're finally getting our January weather. So we'll move on to member comments. Mr. Horn.
We've got down on Point Drive, we got a lot down there that's,
I was going
it's
to be
a
under my
problem
comments.
lot. and
I was
it's
gonna be
coming
under
up-
my
it
comments
should
too.
come under the nuisance ordinance. And with this high water, it's twice as bad as it is when the water's low. But it usually has water on it all year long somewhere.
Especially with the water
Very
being
seldom
this
it's
high.
dry.
That's
I-
actually always.
Is there something that this board can do, put it on the agenda for next meeting and discuss this?
Well, I was going to discuss it under my public comment too, or my member comment, to find what direction the board would like me to go on this. I talked to the gentleman this morning, and I told him to fill out a complaint form, so we know if he can give us some kind of paperwork on to what direction what violations are there, we're going to have our code enforcer and building inspector look at it. If there's some violations, then we will cite on those
Well, there's
violations.
violations there, even
Well,
with just
tell me what
water
are the
laying.
violations?
Well, the water was so high in it, it was
Where does
running
it say
across-
about the high water?
running across his yard and running under the next door neighbor's house.
And he told me that this morning. I said, put that on the complaint that water is running off that
I
property.
seen that running across there.
Okay.
There's gotta be something that we can do.
Right, and we've talked to the individual that owns the lot, and it's,
If we can get it on the agenda when we got a
I'll
full
put it on the
board.
agenda, and we'll add it to the agenda.
Okay,
I didn't put it on the agenda when I talked to the gentleman about 2 weeks ago. I told him I would talk to the board members, and that's what I got it right here on the bottom of my paper.
I've been after
Talk
it
to
for
the board
quite a-
about,
I've been after it for quite a few years.
and if the high water, it's even worse,
Oh, yes, it's bad.
you know. And then another
Went
person,
next
It's clear to the
uh,
road.
Next to small.
and if the water is contaminated and is a health thing, then we should call the health
Well,
department.
the man got sick last summer pumping it out, and he wound up in the hospital in emergency.
I agree, I know, I talked to him, several times I've talked to him. We can add it to the agenda, but I'd like to have some, now we're gonna have a complaint, and we'll have had time to look at the complaints that he's got, something other than just conversation.
Okay.
That's why I had him put it on paper. What are your concerns? He's talked to me a couple times. I just can't go over and tell somebody to fill their lot in, can I?
It's
I
gotta
gotta
be-
have reasons.
It's gotta be filled in. It's in violation. It should be.
What's the
done.
violation? Tell me what the violation is.
It's bad.
I
Mosquitoes,
know, but what's,
mosquitoes
what
in the
code,
summer.
what part of our
Mosquitoes.
code ordinances is it violating?
Nuisance ordinance, if
Nuisance.
any.
Okay, well, I'll look at that one, but I looked through it today again. I don't see anything that says about, water on your property, fill your lot in, And then when we fill it in, where's all the water gonna go too, it's,
Well, it won't get in there.
Right.
That just won't get in there, that's all.
I agree 100% that we have to do something with it. I'm not denying the
I don't know
person.
what.
that's why I'm asking the board. What do? Do I take township funds and go and fill it in?
I don't know. That's up to the board. That's why I want it on the agenda for next
Okay,
meeting.
we'll put it on the agenda.
That's all I have.
Okay. Mr. Boda?
That's one thing. Whose house is that where the pile of sand is? Is that Foster's old house?
No, it's, Kenny's house? Did you see the pile of sand? in
What we're
the back
talking
door?
about, what I'm talking about is a pile of sand in his yard dumped up near his porch. There's gotta be at least 2 truckloads dumped there, maybe more. It's a
On Point
big-
Drive?
yeah, it's a big pile. It's between his garage and his house. It almost touches his porch on his house, but it's gotta be at least 2.
Oh, I haven't been
It's
down,
next to
they just dump it there?
Romanski's. Yeah,
Been there this week.
sometime in the last week. Have you noticed it, Dan?
What's that?
It's just a huge pile of sand. I don't know what they intend on doing.
Do you know the address?
No, it's 2 doors from Foster's house to the south. It's the big colonial house.
I was just wondering if he had a permit, and if he did, what he got the permit for, because I mean, he's got enough sand there to cover his house.
Is that the new
Is
house in
that
there?
down right where they just built that new one?
It's this side of the new house. There's Foster's old house, Romanski's house, and then this house.
Okay.
It just looks like they dumped sand to fill sandbags or something, but it's just such a huge pile of sand.
I mean, it's
It's
big.
just incredible.
Well, I've been having some complaints there that it's flooding in from there, so I haven't talked to the lady, because, that lady's in a nursing
She's in
home,
a
and-
nursing home. It's Kenny's
and the kids have
house.
got it, so.
So the kids have,
All right.
her kids have probably done it, but maybe they intend on filling sandbags.
I was just wondering if any kind of permit to
Just
get that much
noticed.
sand.
Well, over 20 yards, you're supposed to have a permit.
He's got more than 20 yards.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
you
we'll
can
look
have-
at
You
it,
can have 20 yards, but I don't know how much they got down there.
yeah, we'll look at it.
I don't mind a guy getting sand-filled sandbags. I mean, I don't have a problem with that, but my God, they put that much sand in down there.
And we're telling people to sandbag their house, not the seawall. They have a really low front yard there, I mean, it's a swamp. But they should be doing it through the right channel, so.
Just.
Okay,
cities
thank you.
up on that.
Anything else?
Nope, that's it. Thank you.
Mr. Blackstone? Ms. Bobble? Nothing? I got a couple of things. One of them we just talked about was the lot. The other thing is the MTA convention is coming up in April 28th through the 30th. Do any board members want to go? If you do, we have to get registered. We have to register for the convention before we can register to get rooms. So I don't know who's interested in going. If anybody, I probably am. I don't know if Cindy's interested in going, or,
I haven't thought about it, but typically that's more geared for elected officials
yeah, okay.
and deputies.
So if any board member wants to go, you know, but I would like to be able to,
Where's it at, Detroit or Grand Rapids?
what's that?
Is it in Grand Rapids or Detroit?
It's in Traverse City. And it's, they've changed it. It usually is right now, this week here. But they changed it to April 28th through the 30th.
Good thing, because boy, they got the snow up there.
That's why they changed, well, now it's changed for all over.
It's April.
April 28th, 29th, and 30th. But that's the new format now. It'll always be in April, unless they change it again. But because it's hard for the people to come from the UP, even if it's in Detroit, you know, it's hard for them.
Okay.
So,
Park Hotel, is that what it's at?
what's that?
Is that at the Park Hotel? Downtown Traverse,
No, that park, that's right downtown Traverse City. This is at the,
It's at the golf course.
what's it called? Grand Traverse Resort, is that what it is?
The big tower in Acme.
Yeah, the Grand Traverse Resort's where it's at. It's out of town a little bit.
yeah, I saw it from the town.
Yeah. So if anybody wants to go, but I guess we should have a motion that anybody that wants to go, we should get registered on it, because I don't want to wait till the end, but,
I'll make a motion that any board member that wishes to go to the convention is going to be held on April 20th to 30th in Traverse City, be allowed to go with unnecessary expenses.
I'll support.
okay, so we have a motion and we need a support.
I I support.
We have it.
Debbie, all right. We got a motion and a support to allow board members to go to the MTA convention in April with expenses. So is there any further discussion? Debbie, have you thought about going to it, or have you ever been to
I don't
something?
know if I can get off work at that time or
Okay.
having lots of
So
turnover.
is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I guess roll call, please. Simons, yes. Mr. Blackstock?
Yes.
Ms. Babel?
Yes,
Mr. Horn?
Yes.
Mr. Boda?
Yes.
Motion carries. All right, that's all I have under my comments. The other thing, related to the high water too, we're just getting to we seem to have a lot of problems in latter February, and it's gonna carry on, and they're saying they're gonna have high water this year, so
Oh, we're lucky there's no ice.
we are very lucky. So, but what I wanna reach out to the residents and say, now is the time to start getting these sandbagging your house and getting it, because once the water comes in, it's even higher, as most of the board members here that live on the river know that it's.
I noticed the last couple of days, it's receded a little bit.
It's about 6
Is it?
inches.
It's gone down a little.
Well, that heavy rain really jacked it up a
Oh,
lot.
it was terrible.
And the other thing, a week ago, we lost power when that storm come, and we lost 2 of our lift stations. We had just sent one of our generators out to be repaired, and of course, it caught us at a bad time. That's when, so we had one generator, we were out about, an hour and a half, I guess, at one of the stations, and we got a generator from Port Yorn, and then CHOP brought one, and then as soon as they all got here, then the power came back on, but
Yes, but
we did pretty good. We were right at the borderline. So I hope this just isn't the start of it. And we've got a lot we got a lot of repairs to do to our sewer system, with more pumps. Up the Bree Road, we have one pump out for repair, and the one kept up, but
I
they gotta
noticed
be
there's
rebuilt.
something down on the end of Point Drive in front of Hill Frank's house.
We got a sinkhole down there in the sewer.
And I believe that one's got the liner in it.
I don't know, but they want to try to see if they can fix it from the inside. And Blaine's, I think Cindy we met with Blaine, but they're going to try to go in through the residential 4-inch line
Okay.
and go in there and camera that and see if it's applicable to go in through that line and gunite the inside of the pipe without digging it up, because it's 16 feet down there.
Oh, I know it, it's deep.
It'd be like the one we did along there at Kaufman's and a couple of those other ones we did there. We don't want to do that if we don't have to. Blaine had even mentioned that he'd like to have 100 feet of that replaced, because it's pretty bad.
Yeah, that is bad all the way up to the lift station.
And, well, we fixed 2 or 3 of them in there, the risers broke off. And for you guys that live along there too, we fixed some of that pipe on the inside from the lift station going north. We
Okay.
did 300 feet, remember, it was like $16,000, and now that ditch is full of water all the time.
Yep.
Before, it never had any water. Well, it'd be right by your house there, go up about to your property. Blaine has expressed that we should do more of that, but it's so darn expensive to do it.
I think we should do reline a lot of it.
Well, they went in and did all the joints. His original estimate, I think it was $10,000 or something. And when they got in there, started doing it, it was every joint. So while we had them there,
Do it
we
all.
authorized to do it all. I think you guys probably remember when we had to go another 5,000, I think it was. The board approved it. I approved it to do it at the time while we had them here, and then the board
Wouldn't
back.
be a bad idea to do the rest of them.
We're gonna be seeing a lot of that. a lot of that coming up in the future that we're gonna have to do. And as we know, when we did our budget, the water plant's gonna come off in April. That bond issue will be done, so, but we can't transfer that 3/4 of a mil. We can't do that but we should be looking at making either selling some bonds or having some kind of plans to do some of these sewers. With that, I don't have any more. I guess a motion to
Larry,
adjourn.
would you consider having Justin Westmiller come back and talk to the board again, since that was not on television?
I can do that, yeah.
And I don't know how the board feels about it, for some of the residents.
And he said he would come back.
Yeah, he did say he would come back. I don't know if anybody thinks it's worthwhile.
I can call him. Yeah,
I
good
think that
point.
would be a
Since it wasn't
good idea.
on television that night, there's residents that maybe would benefit from hearing him speak.
We can call him, yeah, good point, good point. Anything else? All right, with that, a motion to adjourn would be in order.
I'll make a motion to adjourn by township block at 8:01.
Support. We have a motion and a support to adjourn. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned. Thank you.